What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some big news that came out involving the markets, what you should be watching for news for Tesla, and how things are looking for the share prices for all these different tickers. But before I break down all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. And the offer ends very soon, in just about 9 days from now. Anyways, for Tesla, we're seeing a counter trend rally attempt right here as we're trying to get back over this 242 area. We're actually seeing the market respond very, very positively to some big news that just came out. So I'm going to break down what that news was and talk about the charts in just a minute. Just know, guys, that President Joe Biden has dropped out of the 2024 presidential election, endorsing Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. So this is some very, very important news. I want to make it very clear that it seems like the market priced this in, because there was a lot of talk about this last week, and the market was actually dipping quite a bit when this news came out, that there was speculation that Biden was going to drop out. There was a lot of talk from very, very important Democratic officials that were saying this. So that's why the market was dipping. That was one of the reasons why the market dipped quite a bit last week. There's other factors as well. But with that happening, it seems like the market kind of priced that in. And now with the news coming out, we're starting to see a counter trend rally, which I think could continue for a bit. So we might see the market push a little bit higher. This does not mean it's going to last forever, but might just be a temporary move. What else is more positive is the fact that there's not really much data coming out to interfere with the markets. We just have two bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. So that's pretty much it for today in terms of data. Today being Monday, July 22nd, we have the 3-month and 6-month bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. Very, very minor stuff. For earnings, there's not really anything too significant for today. We just had Verizon and just a few others. Nothing too serious. I will talk more about earnings starting to either tomorrow or maybe a little bit later on today about what just came out. Just know that tomorrow we have Spotify, UPS, GM, and then Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is going to be a big one in the morning. Then we have Tesla, Alphabet, and a few more announcing their earnings later on after the market closes tomorrow. That's going to be huge. So get ready, guys. Can't wait to see what happens. Now, with the news that's coming out, with some things that are going on with the markets, you guys can see the market dipped quite a bit last week. The S&P 500 was down 1.97%. Nasdaq Composite was down at 3.65%. The market dropped quite a bit, but now we're starting to see some more buyers stepping in. This is making all the headlines right now about President Joe Biden announcing that he's leaving the 2024 presidential race. That's actually very important. So I just wish him and everyone else the best. But I just want to make it very clear that with this news coming out, we'll see how things go. I also wish former President Trump the best after a lot of things that have happened to both sides. So I always want to be very, very unbiased when making claims like this. We have some big tech earnings starting very, very soon. Can't wait to see what happens, not to mention even more stuff for next week. And that's pretty much it for big news, at least about the markets. As far as Tesla goes, there's been a lot of talk about how their margins likely dropped in Q2, this and that. The robotaxi has issues. I'm seeing a lot of headlines that are kind of saying this. Honestly, guys, I'm not too worried about any of that. What I would say is this: don't worry, wait for earnings. Just be very patient, wait and see what happens instead of making assumptions. We don't know for sure if their margins dipped. It's possible they did, but that depends on a lot of different factors. As far as their sales went, they actually did better than expected in terms of their sales numbers. So sometimes they could beat expectations when Wall Street has low expectations. So we'll see how things end up going for Tesla. Just be very patient with the earnings coming out. Musk is getting a lot of criticism for endorsing former President Trump, but Elon Musk also said that Tesla is not as dependent on subsidies. Subsidies are not going to affect them as much as people think. So I just wanted to call that out. So with that happening, with that being said, we'll see how things go. He has his reasons, and I respect that. So let things be as they are. And from this point on, if subsidies truly aren't affecting Tesla as much, Tesla should be fine nonetheless. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I will say this: Tesla will be fine regardless of who is the president. Tesla's going to be completely fine, guys. I'm not necessarily worried. Anyways, now let's just break down these charts very, very briefly. Tesla got a nice break above this 242 area. We have a target of potentially trying to push up to about 247, all the way up towards our 50 EMA. And if we manage to break that, I'll be looking for 250 as a potential target. So far, Tesla's trying to rebound. It's actually seen some buyers stepping in. When you look at the 4-hour time frame as well, we're also kind of turning as we have this imbalance to fill up here. So I could be looking for a nice counter trend move to about 247 and eventually 250. In my opinion, there is potential moving forward. So Tesla wants to push higher. If we do end up hypothetically losing 242, I would say like this 242 area, we could come down to fill this gap down to 239. I don't favor that. It looks like it wants to push higher for these levels. That's looking more favorable to me. On SPY, we'll have to see if we could open above 552 or not. If we open above this, I'll be looking for a move back up towards 555. But just know we have this trend line. This was our resistance, which is where SPY was rejecting from. Let me pull this up on the 1 hour time frame. So we had that resistance. See this white line? That was resistance. We're actually trying to break above this just temporarily after this news. If we hold above 552, we got to hold it. We could be looking for 554. If we reject here, look at 550 as key support. If we lose 550, we have a big gap to fill all the way down to 548. So those are going to be your key supports. 550.5, if we hold above that, we could just get a retest of the trend line. If we lose 550.5, we turn bearish. If we hold above 552, we could remain bullish. As of right now, it looks like it wants to push a little bit higher after the news involving Joe Biden, but just be careful. Let's just see if SPY could hold up. We'll see if we try to attempt to go all the way back up to 555. It has potential to rebound, but we got to hold 552. For the QQQ, same thing. We're trying to rebound a bit. Make sure you watch 481 as our first resistance. If that breaks, watch 483. We're going to go with some very, very tight levels. If 483 breaks, I think we could get closer to about 485, that entire zone up there. But if we end up losing 478, if that fails, I think we're easily going to come back down to about 475. So just be careful on the QQQ. Is trying to break past this trend line so far. So it has potential, in my opinion. So we'll have to see if that ends up holding. ES is also trying to push. It's actually testing its 50 EMA. We'll have to see if this resistance breaks at 55.92. If that breaks, we could go higher. Watch for that very, very carefully. NQ, same thing. Basically, we're trying to break past our trend line. We're going to be testing 19,900, the 50 EMA as resistance. We'll see if that breaks or not. Nvidia is trying to rebound. We were talking about how we have this range. So see how it's been going back and forth for the past 3 days, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Watch resistance at 20.78. If that breaks, look for 22. If we lose 119, look for a dip back down to about 118. If that fails us, so if we lose 118, look for 116. If we break past 122, we're going up to 125. Then we have a gap to fill up to 127. So those are your levels. As of right now, we're just range trading between 118 and 122. Watch and see which way we go. As of right now, that's what I'm seeing. So it might push a little higher, but then see what happens when we hit resistance. Bitcoin could push for about 68,000, eventually try to break it. We could even be on our way to 70,000. It's still bullish in my personal opinion. For Aapl, Apple's trying to break the 50 EMA. Watch 228 as resistance. If that breaks, we could be on our way close to about 230. So watch and see how we end up reacting to about 228. That's going to be a tough resistance. If that breaks, 230 plus is coming. We could see a counter trend move on Aapl just temporarily. Not saying it's going to last forever, but just a temporary move. A few more just to end the video. Amazon, we're testing 185. I did call this level out yesterday. If we lose 184, we have a gap to fill down to 182. If we break past 185.7, I'll be looking for a move all the way up towards about 188. I see some potential upside with an inverse head and shoulders on Amazon, so it favors upside just temporarily. For Coinbase, trying to break out right here, it's testing 262.5. We could break through this and go up to about 265, but watch resistance in this 262.5 to 265 area. Might push a little bit higher, but just be careful as we get to those higher levels of resistance. We'll see if we get a rejection or not. If we do reject off 265 and fail to hold 260, we're going back down to 254. As of right now, it's not doing that. It's looking more bullish to me. Meta, trying to break out right here, looking for 85 as resistance. If we break this, I could be looking for a move all the way back up towards. So we have like a cup and handle. Meta could be breaking out towards 495. So I'll be watching for that. Microsoft is also trying to rebound. Look at resistance at 440. If this breaks, could be going all the way up towards 443. Google is also trying to push higher. We could be looking for an attempt for 184. As long as we hold above 181.68, there is potential for that, but that depends on if we could hold up. Don't forget, earnings comes out for Google very soon, so we'll see how things go. Anyways, guys, that is it for my video. Tesla's trying to rebound alongside the market. Let's see if Tesla can try to hold above 244. As of right now, it's favoring that it wants to push a little higher. We'll see if that ends up being the case just temporarily, but then we'll see what the reaction is from the markets. So as long as we maintain these structures, we could try to push a little bit. I do see technicals that show that, especially after the fact that we did price in this news. So this is technically kind of like, could be looked at as a bullish catalyst temporarily, and we'll see how well the market holds up. As far as Tesla goes, don't worry. We have earnings in just about 1 day from now, so it doesn't really matter as much what Tesla does. We'll see how things go. So I just wish you all the best. Thank you for listening, guys, and peace out.